All right, we're going to do another top 10 song video for the band Triumph. Mark and Mike here. And Triumph is was a three-piece band from Ontario, Canada. Did a lot of touring, played a lot of big arenas during their time, and had quite a nice little run there. So headed up by Rik Emmett, and was their bass player Mike Levine, and Gilmore, yeah, on drums, and mostly it was Rik Emmett on lead vocals, but Gilmore did a lot of great background vocals, and he did some lead vocals as well. And I'll try to point out the few that I know that he did lead vocals on. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start it out. Here, Mike, do you want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go. What the heck?
All right.
All right. So when doing this and looking through this and listening to all the albums, I found that most of my 18 were the radio songs. I guess in most cases that wouldn't be, and with most bands I probably wouldn't choose the radio songs. I didn't with Rush, which, you know, a lot of times Rush and Triumph are kind of compared, but really being Canadian and a three-piece is probably about as far as you can go with that, because they were very different, but you always heard them mentioned together.
Yeah,
but
I'm looking at my list too. I'm very heavy radio songs, but I never tired of them.
And you know, outside of those radio songs, they didn't have that many albums total anyway, and their albums weren't really long, so there wasn't a whole lot to select from outside of those radio songs, and they usually had 2 or 3 played on the radio for each album. So.
And they also threw in a couple little 2-minute guitar things with Rik Emmett.
Yeah.
That you can, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the throwaways.
Right.
So you can add that to what limit, you know, we were already limited.
Yeah. Okay, so for my top 10, neither one of us has this album, and never, I don't think I ever seen, or certainly never heard the first album, which was, I think, just called Triumph or something. I don't know anything about it. I think, isn't that the one that Rocky Mountain Way was on, maybe? Possibly?
That could be.
I'm not sure. But anyway, and I don't even have the second album. I don't think you do either.
No.
Rock and Roll Machine. But there was one great song, and this made my top 10.
Really?
Bringing It On Home. Do you know that song?
Yes.
Okay, it's a great song.
Yeah, matter of fact, it's on my. I think it's on my iPod.
Yeah,
I listened
to it when going through preparing this, and it's still a favorite of mine.
I think at one point I bought it off iTunes.
Yeah.
How'd you get it?
I don't know. Unless I got it from you. I don't know.
Maybe you did. Yeah.
Anyway, I've always liked it, and not having listened to their second albums, somehow I heard this many years ago, and I've always liked it, and I still like it today to make my top 10. 2 songs from Just a Game. There's their third album, actually. Title track, Just a Game, and Hold On. I just love both of those songs, and for some reason, I guess maybe Hold On might be my favorite Triumph song of all time. From Progressions of Power, In the Night. I've always been in love with that song.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when I was listening to it, gosh, I haven't heard it in a long time. And gosh, when's the last time I ever listened to Progressions of Power? But I still do like In the Night. It's a cool song. From Allied Forces, 2 definite radio songs, Magic Power and Fight the Good Fight. And I remember when those were popular, they played the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
The radio did. That, and included in that was Say Goodbye from that album. And I'll never forget, it wasn't too long after that album came out. I was at my buddy's house in, what was it, 1980 or something? I was at their apartment, and I put the album on, and I got screamed at by everybody that was in the room because I put that album on because it was getting played all the time.
Oh, wow.
And they're, take that off. What are you doing? That's how much it got airplay. But in listening to it today, I like Magic Power and Fight the Good Fight are still in my top 10. Even though I can't say I got kind of burned out in the day, but not anymore. They're forgiven. I don't have anything from Never Surrender, but from Thunder 7, I've got 3 that go in my top 10. Spellbound, Rock Out, Roll On, and Time Goes By. For some reason, I always liked Thunder 7 a lot. I think it's a heavier album than its predecessor, Never Surrender.
Yeah.
And then lastly, in my top 10, a song. This is probably my second favorite song from Triumph. I've always just loved this thing to death. Somebody's Out There. What a great Rik Emmett vocals, great song.
Yeah.
Going to my honorable mentions, then I'll cover the rest of the radio songs, probably all except one, and I know this is one that you're going to have, Mark, that I'm not going to have, and it was a difficult decision, but I had to exclude I Can Survive. I just couldn't, I just, that's one Triumph song a radio song that I guess I heard enough of.
So it's on the list? Or
No, it's not. It's not. That's
It's
just
not.
one.
Oh,
That's
okay,
just one that I finally said, you know what? I had enough of I Can Survive. So from Just a Game, Lay It on the Line. Maybe that's one song I got a little bit burned out in the day, but listening to it today, it sounds good. It sounds real good again. A couple songs from Allied Forces, Say Goodbye. And another song that I was surprised how much I still like it today, Allied Forces. Couple from Never Surrender, the 2 big radio songs, World of Fantasy and Never Surrender. Couple more off of Thunder 7. I already had 3, here's 2 more. Follow Your Heart and Killing Time. And then lastly, I guess this is my surprise, and I don't know if this is even on your radar, Mark, but it's off of Surveillance, and it's just kind of a, I don't know, I guess you could call it a ballad. Let the Light Shine on Me. It's a pretty cool song.
Yeah, I'm going to have to listen to it.
And I couldn't throw it out. I just kept including it, and I couldn't. It's a great song. So anyway, that's my top 10 plus 8.
Okay. Well, we're going to be almost identical with a couple of exceptions. Not many, but you're going to probably know the exceptions. You're going to know the songs anyway. Starting off with their breakout album, which is Just a Game, the one that's featured on the screen. I get the title track, Just a Game. Young Enough to Cry, which is more of a bluesy number, but it's great tune. I always liked it.
Yeah, I was always a big fan of that, and For some reason, I kind of skipped over it, but that certainly could belong on my list. That is a good song.
And I've told you this story before. When the Cardinals were after the World Series or during the World Series of '82, John Stupper, who pitched in the World Series, actually I think he won a game in the '82 series. He did a lunch program with John Hewlett in '82, and he featured two bands. He said, "I want to feature two bands, two of my favorite bands." And it was Triumph and the Babies. And he played Young Enough to Cry. And I'll be honest with you, that was probably the first time I heard it. And I loved it from there. But
Yeah.
it's interesting that he was a Babies fan and a Triumph fan.
How would you describe it? It's almost borderline kind of a bluesy song.
Yeah, that's what I
isn't
said. It is definitely a
Okay, you did
bluesy,
say that.
a bluesy type song.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but
I
it
think-
is good.
It's an outstanding song.
I've always liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. So got those from the where were we? We're in Just a Game. Hold On, Young Enough to Cry. Just a Game. Title track. Okay. Then we go to Progressions of Power. Two of my all-time favorites. Always been my all-time favorites. Never got burnt out on it. I Can Survive, which I've always absolutely loved, and In the Night, which is quite possibly their best song. That's a tough call.
Yeah, that song is really different.
Yeah, it is.
It's one of those songs that's really unique. Doesn't really
Yeah.
sound like anybody.
Well, I think that's with the Young Enough to Cry too. Is
Yeah.
it's nothing like anything Triumph did.
Right. And In the Night has this totally kind of different vibe to it too.
Yeah. Then we go to Never Surrender, which that World of Fantasy, another big radio song at the time, but didn't have a whole lot of staying power over the years. I think I missed one here. I Got Laid on the Line, also from Just a Game. I'm bouncing around here because my list isn't any kind of chronological order. Then from Allied Forces, Fight the Good Fight, Magic Power, and Say Goodbye. Three good radio songs. Magic Power probably being the biggest radio song, along with Lay It on the Line from the previous album. So that's my top 10. So I didn't really go beyond Never Surrender. So here's the honorable mentions. Time Goes By, which is from Thunder 7. Never Surrender, the title track. Tears in the Rain from what's the album with I Got Somebody's Out There Too. What album? I forgot.
Sport of Kings.
Sport of Kings. So we got Tears in the Rain, which is a Rick Gilmore did sing it, and also got Spellbound, Follow Your Heart, and Killing Time. So that's it. So we're pretty much, with, three exceptions maybe here and there.
Yeah.
We're pretty much mirror each other on this. So, yeah, great band. Great band. Like I said, I went up to like 87. I think Surveillance was like the year after that, but I think that was pretty much it for them. But great band. Enjoyed them.
I just read where they just performed 3 songs for a couple hundred people.
Oh,
They reunited for the first time in many years, and for a documentary that they're doing on the band. I just read it
cool.
either this morning or yesterday. That the three guys got together. It's like the first time in, oh gosh, I don't remember the years, 11 years that they had performed together or something like that. So that's pretty cool. But so there should be a documentary on them coming out at some point.
Okay.
As you know, they did get for a short period of time, they got really big.
Yeah, I have a DVD of them playing
At the US Festival?
gig, and yeah, I got them at the US Festival. Which there's a lot of other bands there, but I also got them playing a gig in Canada, and I'll bet you there was at least 15,000 people there. So they were selling out big arenas.
Did you ever see them live?
Yes.
Okay. Because I saw them like at the arena or something, so there was probably 12, 15,000 people. Maybe not that many because of stage.
I saw them at the arena too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I saw them at the Allied Forces tour.
Yeah.
Maybe you might have seen them around the same time.
Never Surrender, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, they loaded up the arenas, and poof, a few years later.
Damn.
Kids today probably have no idea who they are.
Yeah. I think I saw them with Deep Purple.
Oh, really? Wow.
And the guy from Mountain, Leslie West.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I wasn't really interested in that, but I didn't really know anything about Mountain at the time. I still really don't know a whole lot. But great band. It was fun putting this list together. A lot of great stuff.
Yep.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and leave a comment. Thanks for watching.